prior to 2024 and the appearance on the scene of the PinClicks keyword research tool, I always performed my Pinterest keyword research manually because that was the best way to do it. It's not a step-by-step process inside the platform. You will probably develop your own step-by-step process once you find the places, the corners of Pinterest where you're getting the best keywords for your content. So what we're going to do in this video is look at all the corners of Pinterest where you can collect the keywords, those annotations that are relevant for your content, and start to utilize them within your SEO process. So if I don't have my content planned yet, I start in a slightly different place than if I do have my content planned. For content that I don't have planned yet, I start at Pinterest Trends. I would set my region to the United States because I personally am targeting North American traffic. If you're targeting UK traffic, set it to the UK, etc. And then for content that I don't have planned yet, I'm looking forward to the future, I like to discover the trends that are happening, in the future or in the past, I guess, because Pinterest trends can't look directly into the future. They only can look at past data. I planned new content for my new website this year by looking at the seasonal ideas that were ending a few months after when I was starting publishing. So if I was creating content now for a new website, I would go, what's going to be doing well at the end of February? So I set for seasonal trends and I go back to the end of last February. And then I niche down by what my website is about. So if I was, in the DIY and crafts niche, I would go here, and then I can look at what has kind of done well throughout the middle part of the winter here, what might be starting to do well this time of year, and I can kind of ideate from this place. And then you can click on there to open the trends search page, and you can kind of follow this idea along from here. So if I've decided that before the end of February, well, I guess maybe before the end of January, I'm going to be publishing spring toddler crafts, then I'd also want to look at these related words that Pinterest is showing me and compare them across. Is spring crafts preschool a good word? And oh my goodness, it's so much better than spring toddler crafts comparatively. It's important to understand that what we're looking at right here is not search volume. It is search popularity out of 100 compared to the other things that you've listed for Pinterest to compare. So what we see is that spring crafts preschool just absolutely outshines spring toddler crafts. And of course, we also see that the search popularity of these particular keywords drops right off after spring is over, and that makes sense. So that's what we're seeing there. It's not search volume. We are going to talk about search volume a little bit later in this video, but search volume is actually such new information that Pinterest is sharing with us. I'm recording this video in December of 2024, and Pinterest has only just started sharing search volume around certain keywords with us in the past 2 months or so. So prior to very recently, the last couple weeks, search volume has never actually been a consideration inside my keyword research process. And this search popularity was a bigger consideration. And I think going forward, it still will be, just because old habits die hard and the trends tool still shows us search popularity. Now, this is where I would start and then explore these other related words along here if I was ideating for new posts. If I already had my post created and I came to trends to determine what I should keyword my post, I just want to go back to trends so I can start at the starting place. Then I would just start here by typing my main idea into trends. So if we're doing keyword for our mason jar ideas post, mason jar crafts, then I'd start there rather than trying to dig the trend out of, historical trends, because this word might still be a great word for my post, even though it didn't make the list between nails and food and fashion and decor. It's still going to be where I need to be. So I just come directly here. And then I look at these related trends, because often they're words that I don't even think about. Glass jar decorating ideas. It's certainly not as popular as mason jar crafts, but it is popular and an evergreen fashion. And I would never have thought about glass jar decorating ideas. So I'll note that. Continue to compare other words across the bottom here and note their popularity. Mason jar crafts seems to be the most popular one here. That's probably where I am going to start on Pinterest. So I just note all of these. Remember, we're just looking at the different corners of Pinterest where we can start to gain insights into their finite dictionary, the words that are important to Pinterest that are going to be our keywords. After I determined which words here I would like to explore further on Pinterest, I go to the home feed. And here I'm going to search my main keyword and pay attention to what's here in the drop down. So these are not here alphabetically, obviously. They are here, I strongly believe, they are here based on popularity currently. How popular are these words currently? So if we had done this search on October 25th, Mason Jar Crafts Halloween would probably have been up here, but right now Christmas is up here, and that's normal. This drop-down suggestion list is going to change as the seasons change on Pinterest. So I'm going to note these words here, and then I'm going to start exploring the ones that are relevant to my blog post. I really like these guided search bubbles here. It's important for us to realize that sometimes the ones that are visible on mobile are actually different than the ones that are visible on the far left of the screen on desktop. So do your search on mobile also and ask yourself which of these words on both desktop and mobile are relevant to your piece of content, and explore those further. Easy Mason Jar Crafts DIY. Pay attention to how these words add themselves to your main keyword. So what I mean by that is, let's just go back to Mason Jar Crafts. That's where we started. Okay. Then we put on DIY and it stuck to the back of the word. So generally, it's my assumption that this is going to be a Pinterest annotation. It's not just that the word always sticks to the back. It doesn't always just add it, because look, when I add easy, it goes to the front. And so this is probably a Pinterest annotation, maybe also with DIY on it. It's just that once we start adding a whole bunch, we can't expect those to be the annotations. It certainly wouldn't hurt to use Easy Mason Jar Crafts DIY. In fact, I think that's a really excellent thing to do because you're targeting both those annotations. I just want you to make sure that you do notice whether your keyword adjusts with your more granular search at the front or at the back, because it's different than if you just stick it at the back all the time. Once you've drilled down a little bit inside your keyword bubbles, scroll down inside these posts and look at the related searches that Pinterest suggests for you. So related searches here. Here's glass jar decorating ideas again. So that's that keyword that we saw in trends that I would never have considered, and yet I'm seeing Pinterest giving me that keyword back in yet another place. I'm definitely going to note it. I'm definitely going to target it in my Pinterest SEO. DIY mason jar ideas, things to do with jars. That's a whole nother one that I've never seen anywhere else in this search. And actually, if we're always keeping our mind open to new major ideas that we can create within our content cluster, I would suggest that this is probably another major idea that could be created out of the mason jars cluster. Just because I have so many minor ideas that could go on a board like that. And then you could just make another major ideas post targeting the keywords things to do with jars rather than mason jar crafts. They're completely different keywords, targeting completely different people. Once you've determined what major ideas keywords you're kind of starting with, then we can check out the annotations on the individual ranking pins to see what else Pinterest thinks this pin might be about, or what keywords around your idea Pinterest thinks are very relevant for the pins that are already ranking there. The way to do this is to copy the pin URL and paste it into an incognito screen where you are logged out. Once you get to Pinterest logged out, I find that it's really helpful to stop requests to log in. Otherwise, you'll be clicking around and Pinterest will keep logging you in, and it's really painful. This makes it a lot faster. So here, these gray bubbles on the back end of Pinterest logged out are the annotations that Pinterest has assigned to this pin. These are all ideas that you will want to note, and they should be links to the Pinterest ideas page. Now, Pinterest ideas pages can be accessed two ways. First, by going to pinterest.com/ideas. Ideas are generally the same as annotations, and you might often hear them referred to as interests. So it's important to understand that those are usually the same thing, and certainly they are keywords. So when we're doing keyword research, we are paying close attention to those annotations. The ideas pages are individual pages that Pinterest has created for their annotations. I believe to try to help those annotations to rank in Google, those pages to rank in Google, but also they use them as collections of ideas to lead their users around on the platform. So you can access the ideas pages by going pinterest.com/ideas and drilling down inside of what you can find here. So there's a ideas page for holiday crafts. That would be an annotation. This would be a good broad keyword probably to target because there is an ideas page for it. Recently, Pinterest started sharing search volume. This is where they've started sharing it recently. Now, in the past, I have suggested that we try to find these pages that are relevant for our keyword. It's very difficult to have a keyword in mind and then find its Pinterest ideas page. It's even been a little bit of a guessing game in the past. You used to be able to put in pinterest.com/ideas/mason-jar-crafts and hit enter and see if you could get a page back. But a few years ago, Pinterest started putting this string of ridiculous numbers on the back of every ideas page. So then guessing the page became impossible. You can Google for it, of course, but the easiest way to try to find the annotations pages that are related to what you are searching is from that logged out screen. So any pin, take it to the logged out screen. And then access the pages via the links, the annotations on the logged out screen. So that helped me find the handmade Christmas crafts page. It's easier than trying to guess it or trying to locate it from the ideas page. I like to look at a number of these annotations pages and note things like, are the pins that Pinterest has put on this page, are they relevant to the thing that I think my post is going to be about? If so, then maybe this is a good annotation to target. How many saves are on the pins on this page? Are they really low? Are the pins that are targeting this keyword getting absolutely no reach, or are they getting decent reach? And I like to know that. And of course, recently, again, search volume, maybe I will start to note the search volume on these individual pages because, of course, I am going to be targeting the annotations that are on my my logged out pins. I just want to go back to my mason jar crafts so that we're keeping our thoughts in a more or less straight line. I'm going to consider targeting annotations from here, and I'll probably open 4 or 5 pins that are relevant and check all their annotations. Now, if you're feeling like this process is, it should really be the same incognito window. If you're feeling like this process is a little bit long and painful, you're not wrong. It has been long and painful for years. The good news is that now, thanks to PinClicks, we don't have to do this anymore. But I still want you to know how to do it so that when we look at doing it with PinClicks, it all makes good, easy sense. Okay, so now I've got a few pins open in a logged out window, and I can note the annotations from all of them. I particularly want to note overlapping annotations because those might be far more popular than the ones that only appear on 1 or 2 pins. And I also particularly want to note when there's a lot of irrelevant annotations. That could be a major red flag, like Pinterest doesn't understand what this content is about. And if that's appearing over and over and over in the same niche, in the same keyword search across a lot of pins, it might even mean like you have the wrong idea about what the post should be about, or the search user intent is going to be really poor. They're often saving it to boards that don't even make sense for it, etc. So it's just really important to make sure that these are all on point. And if you can find the overlapping ones, that's a really good hint that you are on point. Now, because we are doing Pinterest keyword research, and because we are just kind of having to hunt out all the keywords that might be completely relevant for this blog post about mason jar craft ideas, obviously we could get very overwhelmed and we could feel like we have to collect absolutely endless keywords. Don't let yourself get caught up in the overwhelm of keywords. Just tell yourself, I just want to find 6 good keywords that I'm going to target right now, 10 good keywords that I'm going to target right now, and then next time when I do a new batch of pins for this post, 6 months down the road, a year down the road, if it's seasonal, if it's Christmas mason jar crafts, I'm probably going to pin it again a year from now. I'll pick another 10. Don't get too caught up in a specific number that you're trying to find. It's endless in good niches. One thing I like to look at to see if I have explored my major ideas well is a well-ranking pin / so the pin URL is up there here, and then I'm going to put /activities on the back of it, and it's going to show me boards that it's been saved to, and I'm checking to see if I've fully explored the major ideas that could come out of my cluster. So here's somebody saving mason jar craft ideas to a board about their wedding. So I would potentially note for the future that mason jar craft ideas for a wedding, or wedding decor mason jar craft ideas, something like that. It would be a keyword that I would explore. Let's see, glass bottle crafts. Okay, again, there's kind of a hint towards that glass jar decorating. Like, I just don't ever think about it that way, but I think it's a great way to think about it. Let's see. Okay, make money. So we have in the course, as an example, currently mason jar crafts to sell. That's really validating that idea. number of Christmas ones. That's not really surprising at Christmas time, but maybe I should be considering a Mason Jar Crafts for Christmas kind of major idea board. And you can do this, check out, what people are saving the similar ideas to every few months to see if you can come up with new seasonal ideas. That's a really good thing to do. And then lastly, unfortunately, I can't demonstrate it on this account because it's a brand new account that I've just created for the purposes of the course. But once you have been saving pins for some time, your own pins, you can go into your analytics and then you'll have a list of top pins here. And I would check my top pins by impressions, but also my top pins by outbound clicks. Open those pins, open them in a logged out window, look at how Pinterest has been annotating them, and check to make sure that you have targeted the annotations that are on your top performing pins. If you haven't, then there's a really good opportunity to make new pins for old posts targeting those annotations and to make new pieces of content that are relevant for those annotations that your existing content is already doing well for. So I think that is pretty thorough as far as all the corners of Pinterest where we are going to explore to find those annotations, those keywords that Pinterest is utilizing to distribute our content. In the next module, I will show you how all of this has become so much easier with pin clicks.